you'll see that same enthusiasm, at Detroit Golf Club. And so I was reading that they're behind Florida, Texas, and California. You got the most golf courses in America here in Michigan. We have great champions that have emanated from Michigan. And it's nice to be here this time of year when you see everything starting to get a little greener and golf season come into view, knowing that we're going to be here with 2 shots at it this year.
Are you as surprised as a lot of us that it took a decade for the tour to return to this great state?
I would say I'm not surprised, only because we've had on both of those tours, we've been fully sponsored.
Right.
And so it's not like there was an opening that we could have plugged into. And time has a way of getting you back to, getting you to the right place in the right places. And I think the way this happened with Ally and with Rocket Mortgage coming up and wanting so badly to do this for their communities, it just takes time, probably longer than people would have thought. But to me, the most important thing is we've come back here with 2 great partners, 2 great golf courses, and in the right way.
Tiger Woods has won here 3 times. Have you or anybody on your staff ever spoken with him to gauge his interest in the Champions Tour when he turns 50?
Tiger is 43 years old right now.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty focused on his time on the PGA Tour right now, and that conversation will come in the future. But at this point, any player that's 43 years old or is at that stage in their career, there's an expectation when they get to 47, 48, 9, it'll come into view, and that's when you typically have those conversations.
Is that something you could see him doing, though?
I don't want to speak to any individual player, but of course, this tour, look at the quality of play out here, and look at the quality of champions, major champions, player champions, Hall of Famers, and the level of play continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And the nature of any professional golfer is you're extremely competitive, and this is the ultimate platform to prove yourself on. So yeah, I'd never rule any player in the world playing on this tour.
You talked about the success of this event its first year. What would a player like him committing to play in Detroit in the first year, what would that mean to a first-year event like that if he were to play at the Rocket Mortgage?
Well, I think you just have to you look at where we are today and the depth of player that we have on the PGA Tour, and the players that have already committed to that event well in advance. That event is going to do extremely well, and I think as well as any first-year event has ever done. And having the Tigers, the Phils, the Rickies, the Dust, all those players, the totality of the players that are playing in the event make the event. But Tiger is, there's nothing like Tiger. To me, he's the most recognizable, dominant athlete in my lifetime and in this generation. And to have him back at this point in time, every week that he's playing, it certainly pulls more casual fans into our sport. So if that were to happen, you'd see more of that, and that's a wonderful thing.
This is a big year for rules changes.
It is.
What kind of rules do you think need a little bit more time to be understood and accepted, and which ones have been really positive, do you think, for the game?
Well, I think the USGA and the R&A are the 2 governing bodies that oversee the rules, and they went through a multi-year process, a 7-year process to try and modernize the rules. We, the PGA Tour, participated in that process, and I would say that we are really pleased with the outcome. You have 50-plus rules that were introduced at the beginning of the year. We saw that some of those rules needed debate and discussion. That happened, and they quickly and in real time made changes to 3 rules recently, and we're really pleased with where we are. But like anything else, we'll just continue to, as an industry partner, continue to monitor it, share our opinions. But you got to give those 2 organizations a lot of credit for doing something that hasn't been done in the history of our game in those organizations, and getting to a place where you're simplifying and modernizing. A lot of businesses are challenging themselves to do that, and I'm proud that ours has as well.
The LA Challenge has got the rock bands going on during the week and that kind of thing. Is that kind of a trend-setting thing for the Champions Tour, or Is that unique to here, you think, or is that something that's going to be an expectation everywhere?
Well, listen, I think that that typically when you look at the events that surround the event, they reflect that community, and they reflect the passions in that community, the culture in that community. And you know, we're talking about a first-year event moving into its second year. I guarantee you that every other event on PGA Tour Champions and a lot of events on the PGA Tour are watching what happened here because it went over so well. But I do think we see music, culture, entertainment a big part of our events. And given the richness of all three here in this area, it wasn't a surprise to me that not only that it happened, but it happened with such so wonderfully.
The Champions Tour is here now. The PGA is coming back. Could you see a major championship returning to Michigan? I think it's been 10, 11 years maybe.
I would never put a restriction on this marketplace. So the way our sport is structured, we don't operate the major championships. But you've got a lot of great, smart leaders and organizations that have a deep commitment to the game, and given the strength of this marketplace, to me, it's just a matter of time.
Warwick Hills proved for 50 years what a great venue it was for hosting golf. What are some things about the Detroit Golf Club that maybe excite you for the upcoming event there?
Well, I would say being in the city of Detroit at this point in time on a Donald Ross golf course with a rich history and tradition. I grew up on a Donald Ross golf course. But being in the city at this point in time, to me, as we were talking about here today at the Ally, talk about a path forward. This is a really exciting time to bring the best players in the world on these two tours into this market. And I think that that golf course is going to prove to be a great test. And I think it's going to show beautifully on television, not just the golf course, but when you're in the city, you've got the opportunity to tell the story. And I know that's really important to Rocket Mortgage, and we're proud to be able to do that and to have our players experience it and talk about it. And it'll just this year will be the start, and it's a first-year event. But I expect that we're going to be there for a long time to come.